Hey y'all, welcome back to the Charmaine Show. I am your host, Charmaine, and this is still a space where we empower, celebrate, and love women through dialogue. And tonight's episode is all about alopecia, gratitude, and community. And I'm here with these two amazing queens, our special guest, Makeda and Angela, y'all. Thank you for being here. How y'all feeling?
Good. Thank you for having us. We appreciate the opportunity to be here.
I echo the same. Thank you. Thank you for calling me out.
Listen, this has been in the works, y'all, and I'm just so glad that we're able to have this very necessary and timely conversation as women. And so, how you all are feeling? How's the week going?
It's only Tuesday, but
Only Tuesday.
I give thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, grateful. That's the word for today and the week, I guess, you know.
Yes. And so we're going to get into talking about gratitude and community. But first, I want you both to just share your journey with alopecia and how it has shaped your identity and self-perception.
Yes. So I'm gonna start. My name is Angela. I've had alopecia since I was about 12. I kind of like self-diagnosed myself because my hair was falling out. I was like, I don't know what this is. And this is like early internet when I was younger. I'm currently 38 years old. So I had this when I was about 12, which is really, really hard because I feel like when you're young, your hair, I mean, throughout your life, your hair kind of defines you, unfortunately. So that was really, really hard, my hair falling out. My particular experience is I have recurring alopecia. So there are points where my hair falls out, and then every 2 years, it falls out about every 2 years, and then it'll grow back. So that's been really, really hard. I've had difficult conversations with people. I wear wigs consistently, or I have braids, or my hair up. I don't think anyone has really seen my hair since college, maybe. I've kept my hair like plaited or something because I never know when it's going to fall out. There are different types of alopecia. So, there, like I say, I have recurring. Some people get full baldness. There's CCCA, which is centripetal, which is like in the crown of your head. Then you have that one. You could,
Traction.
yeah, traction alopecia, and that's just like us pulling our hair all the time, from combs and brushes. But it's a topic that I think is extremely important to have in our community. Our hair is really, really important. I've actually had, like, I remember I was on Hinge once and I've had a guy, I don't know, that I matched with, and he was just like, oh my God, your hair is so full. I had a wig on. And I was just like, it really made me realize like even men think that hair is so important. It's not just something that we as women take to be, something that identifies us. So it's really been hard there were times when I felt I was not beautiful. I think in the last couple years, that's how I felt. And it's so nice to have met Makeda. I met her right before pandemic or during pandemic. It was during pandemic where yeah, it was during the pandemic. We started our organization called Naked Crown, as you can see. And it's been so helpful. And we'll talk later about how important community has been in this whole process, but it has helped me become more okay with my stance and where I am and who I am. So thank you, Makeda.
My pleasure. Miss Charmaine, I'll just go ahead and jump right in. I developed or was diagnosed formally in my mid 30s. And so, juxtaposition to Angela, it hurt just as much, right? Some people would say, well, childhood is rough. I'm not taking away from that.
No.
But being out in these streets, single black woman, career driven, war paint on Friday night, Saturday night, trying to date and trying to navigate career, trying to navigate dating, trying to navigate these spaces, and then losing your hair, the one constant, the one thing that has always been there. And if you think about it culturally, especially we as Black women, we have like whole rituals around our hair. I remember growing up, every 2 weeks I was at Miss Rose's shop with my mom from I was a little girl. What we were doing for hours, we were getting our hair done. And so having my hair up until my mid 30s, my ride, one of my ride or die, and then all of a sudden it not being there. My story, I literally went to the hairdresser and she was washing my hair. My hair was natural. I would get it trimmed. I would shiny bump. So, I was taking all the precautions, like not too much coloring, not too much this, not too much that. And I wasn't a wig girly. A couple of years ago, wigs and, all of these things weren't as popular and normalized as
Mhm.
they are now. So I will say I'm thankful for that. I'm very grateful for that because I could only imagine. I remember being in sixth grade, and if you had, braids, oh, you got weave, and that was perceived as a bad thing, unfortunately, back at that time. Right.
Yeah.
Fast forward, she's washing my hair and she gasped. You never want to hear your hairdresser gasp over
Yeah.
your head. And so I said, well, what's going on? And she was like, oh, she didn't know how to tell me all of my hair was in her sink. And so by the time she finished me, I left out of there looking like y'all familiar with Rugrats?
Mm-hmm.
I looked like the Cynthia doll. It's okay if you want to laugh. It's okay. I left out of there looking like the Cynthia doll,
Yeah.
just very confused. I didn't know what happened. I was so confused. Fast forward, went to the doctor. She did a biopsy, and then she gave me the official diagnosis. Um, and I also want to take a point to note that identifying medical health professionals that look like you is critical because this white lady and I, this white lady and I, we almost went toe to toe. The dermatologist, but I'll wrap it up. So she gave me my diagnosis. She gave me some treatment. It started working for a little while, and then when my hair eventually started growing back, it wasn't the same. So I hesitate to say I have because I don't want to own it. I am currently in the throes of experiencing for the past 10 years alopecia areata, which is uh, like full on baldness. And another type of alopecia, there's scarring alopecia, and there's also alopecia universalis. And also, male pattern baldness is alopecia because alopecia is literally just a sexier name for hair loss overall medically. So a lot of men also have alopecia. And, I've talked to a few guys as well. That's always a very interesting space. But yeah, I was diagnosed about, a little over 10 years ago, and it's been very interesting ever since. So to confirm with the crowd, no, there are no cornrows up under this wig. This is just a really nice wig that I got, and I like my inches.
Hello. Okay. Thank you both for sharing just the origin story because it's so important. And when I reached out to Makeda about this topic and we talked about having this conversation, Angela and Makeda, um, it's so many women that are going through this in silence. And as you mentioned, just being in the hair salon as Black women, that is a major part of culture, how we engage with one another. There's things that I learned in the hair salon that, still follow me to this day about identity, about self-esteem. And so I'm really so grateful that both of you are having this conversation to shed light, but not just to shed light, but to encourage and empower women that are watching this episode that you're not alone. You are not alone. And if you don't take anything away from this conversation, that is the essence of what we want you to feel is that we all have a story, we all have a journey, and you're not alone. And talking about, to go a little deeper with both of you, and talking about, and you both hit on this the emotional and mental shifts that you may have experienced as you've navigated your hair loss journey. So, can you talk about a time that was really significant for you that you were like, this is really affecting, right? How I interact, how I engage with other people. What was that like? What is that like?
I think it's like you have to be willing to be vulnerable. I know that growing up, again, my alopecia was when I was extremely young and I had wigs. And like Makeda said, the wigs back in the 90s, 2000s, they don't hit like today. So everyone knew that you had a wig. So that was really, really hard for me. Every time, people, I would like see people looking at me and they're looking at the part, they could see that I was wearing a wig and they're not looking in my eyes. They're looking at, look at her hair, like she has a wig on, and that was really, really hard for me to navigate that, and then also like, is my wig gonna fall off? Like, let's be honest, like, right? Like that was like a huge, I did actually have my wig fall off once. But that's a huge part of it. So you become so insecure. And you're always on alert, right? You're like, okay, are they gonna know that I have a wig on? Is my hair gonna fall off? Like you're always in protective mode and it really doesn't allow you to like live the life that you really want to live. So I feel like that's been my experience. It's really interesting because until I began the platform or Naked Crown, my friends really didn't understand or know because again, my hair always came back. So they're just like, oh, like whatever. And then, through the process, I would take pictures, didn't share them. And when I put it on, Naked Crown, our Instagram page, people were like, you were hiding that this whole time? And I'm like, yeah. And it's hard if it's hard for me to accept, felt like it was going to be hard for everybody else to accept. And again, that's why finding community, people that look like you, people that can share their experiences, being vulnerable. And I found that in all areas of my life. The more vulnerable you are with the people that you can identify with you, the easier it is to get through it.
Ah, the tears. Yeah. To piggyback off of what Angela said, I can tell you stories of me not being comfortable in my own house because I have company. And I'm like, I can't wait till y'all leave because I'm hot up under this wig and I want to take it off and go to bed. I want to take my wig off and go to bed. And literally like running to the bathroom and hiding and like take just to take a breath in my own house, like,
Mm.
or even traveling, having to share a room full
Mm.
of people that you've known for years but they don't know you without your hair, and then there's a difference between telling someone and showing them. It hits them different. And so it's not that they change, but it's like they almost start grappling with it. They don't know how to feel. For me, emotions, I've run the gamut, right? So I mentioned that my hair had grown back the first time after it all fell out, and but it wasn't quite the same. But I was still happy it grew back. And then the second time it started falling out, I think I was over it by then. I was super over it. But what really crushed my spirit was I went to go visit my mom one day, and I don't did I put a no, I didn't put a wig on that day. I was just like trying something new. Or no, I think I had on a wig and a hat, and I walked in her house and I took it off and shook it out and was just like, I can breathe. I feel safe. I'm with my mom.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she started to cry.
Wow.
That broke my heart. I was like, "Damn, you got my mama crying." She's because she's like, my girl, my baby girl, my girl child. Like this is something that she couldn't
Mm.
fix for me,
Wow.
right? And so that was hurtful for me. And then I think before that, when my eyebrows got snatched, because alope- different types of alopecia cause different hair loss, like in different places at different times, right? God forbid I would never need a Brazilian again. Not to be TMI, but I do still have to like, get my private parts together. But one point I lost my eyebrows. So you can imagine what it's like looking in the mirror and not fully recognizing yourself because your eyebrows are gone, your hair is gone, and your eyelashes are gone.
Yeah.
Like I'm at one point I'm looking at the mirror and I'm like, I don't recognize this reflection. And then crying and being really upset about it and feeling helpless, like all in one. It does take an emotional toil. And some may say, oh, but it's just hair. Yeah, it's just hair to you when you decided to cut it off and it grows back.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's just hair when it was your decision to do, but I didn't make this
Mm,
decision. I wanted my eyebrows. I
mm,
was on a hair growth journey. Like, I wanted my hair. So, those things do have its toll. It takes a toll on your confidence. One of the things that always kept playing in my head, my grandmother had this saying when she was alive, miss her dearly. She used to tell me all the time that my hair was my crown and my glory, and it was my beauty.
mm.
So imagine waking up one day, your crown, your glory, and your beauty is gone. Like everything you associated with being beautiful and being feminine, gone. So yeah, there's not much more I have to add to that. And being forced to really, I'm sorry for the background noise, being forced to relearn or
Redefine.
redefine, right? Thank you. Beauty for
Yeah.
yourself.
I was just about to segue there, Makeda, because as I'm listening to you and Angela, that's what's coming up for me. And you both talked a lot about autonomy, right? There's one thing to choose, and there's one thing to not have a choice. And how do you, and a lot of women are in this transition space, and I say this all the time, we're more alike than we are different, right? When you think about transition, when you think about seasons of redefining, when you think about seasons of understanding autonomy, those could be difficult and challenging spaces. And so just recognize, you said recognizing your reflection. What happens when you no longer recognize the person that you're looking at in the mirror emotionally, mentally, and physically? And I can only imagine how that affects spiritually, right? Like your connections when it comes down to like, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I had a,
Go
and
ahead.
this
Flow.
may be a hot take, but I was in the car and I was having a very stern conversation with the Lord. Okay? I was not happy. I was pissed. Yes, did I cuss? Yes, I did. How could you? Yes, yes, because he knew what was on my heart and I was mad. Like, I'm not going, I can't fake that. I was mad. I was mad. I literally was like, yo, God, you really just snatched up my eyebrows and my lashes and my hair. Like, what's going, like, what did I do? Like, what? You see me out here trying to just be and trying to improve and trying to, and then you just gonna snatch. Oh, okay. I was upset. I was upset.
I would compare it to like the stages of grief. I don't think people really understand that. Like it's literally like you're losing who you are or something that was so important to you. So you have to go through those stages, which is anger, sadness, understanding. I think really during the healing process for me, a lot of it was researching, right? And figuring out what is this? Why is this happening to me? Didn't really get the answers that I wanted or don't really still understand why it happened. But as I've grown and understood, like, okay, this does not define me, it helped me get past it. And again, I will always say this community had a very important part in that, but I would definitely define it as stages of grief.
Mm, thank
Yeah.
you. Go ahead, Makeda.
I was just gonna say, Angela, you said something really important. You said, yeah, I asked the questions and I didn't really get an answer. Um, and I asked the questions as well, and I didn't really get an answer either. But what I just realized in you saying that is that having this experience has taught me and given me practice in how to pivot and how to shift my perspective. One of my favorite quotes by Brian Tracy is that when you change the things you see change. And so
Wow. I
I
love
had
that.
to really change how I was seeing how, wearing wigs. I had to change how I was seeing myself. I had to change how I was taking care of myself. I had to change. It really gave me rigorous exercise. I had to change my relationship to vulnerability.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I just wanted to add something when I was talking about grief too. I think that, when you're grieving, a lot of people don't know what to say, right? And I think the same thing with alopecia. I think people don't know what to say. And so if you guys are going through that experience, some of it is just like you just have to take people's say, I've gotten, oh, you got the head for that. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, but of course you're gonna say that because like what else are you gonna say? So you just have to like go, people are they're meaningful, right? They're trying to, help you, but they don't know what to say, and that's going to be part of your process either way. So as you go and navigate, as you go through alopecia, that's going to be part of it. But just know that people are coming from a good place and they just don't know how to communicate that.
And don't bite their head off when they ask you if you have cancer, because that may come up. And no disrespect to those who, because I have a sister of mine who is, I believe she's in remission now. She had cancer. She lost all her hair, and her hair is growing back. Happy for her. And I can admit that I've gone through a bit of hair envy. Like there are friends of
Mhm.
mine who have like these gorgeous heads of hair, and like friends who have lost their hair and their hair has grown back. And I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to compare the severity
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
having, cancer. It's very serious. But just don't assume because somebody's bald that they got cancer. Like, it,
Don't assume.
don't make the
Don't
assumption.
assume. That was
Yeah.
and that was and this is why this conversation was just so important for us to have, right? Because there's just so many assumptions, even as us amongst women, amongst Black women, we have assumptions about each other. And I just appreciate your vulnerability around all of the different things that can come up. And we're talking about it because if it comes up for you, you're not weird. You're not strange. You're human. And you're having a human experience, and that's okay. And there's a lot of relearning around where our power lies, right? When we have to redefine it. We'll get into what does embracing yourself fully look like in this season, right? As you talked about relearning and redefining, what does a day in a life look like for the both of you now?
I'll hop in. So, that's a really good question because I have yet to take on the challenge of going into the workplace without hair. I'm still very much in the paradigm of showing up to work a certain way, which for me, that build, if you will, because I just got finished listening to a very interesting dialogue about building your life versus designing your life. I won't go there. That's another show, Miss Charmaine.
I need the link when we're
Sure. Um, and so, as a part of building my life, I assume because programming says you show up a certain way. You have hair. It's done. It's not pink. It's not teal. It's black. It's brown, or maybe it's blonde, depending on right respectability, politics, all the things, right? And so I have yet to show up bald, and for a myriad of reasons, and I still struggle with that. And so a day in my life, like I change my hair based on the seasons. And so during the summer months, I'm finally coming to accept that I prefer to have like a pop on, pop off unit because, baby, it is hot.
very.
And I am not 25 anymore. And okay, that's a whole nother show and another
Okay.
conversation with the. So y'all side with the fan. And like, I feel like I have on a hat. So I have on,
Mm,
literally, I wear a hat of
mm,
hair in the summer, but I love the fact that I can take it off and also the glue, and that's a whole nother dynamic, right? So even learning,
mm.
and including in my budget, oh, do I have a wig for that event? What time is that going to happen so I can make my appointment? What do I want my hair to look like? That's another. When we get further in the show, I'll explain why I'm talking about that. But even the considerations, right? Today it's raining.
Yeah.
You know, oh, what do my edges look like? Can people tell? Is it lifting? Do I have the glue in my bag? What do I need? Do I have my tools? Um,
Yeah.
so for me, having hair and showing up in certain spaces is definitely still a thing. However, what I have done, there'll be some weekends where I can't bother, or I'm going to the gym and I don't care, or I'm going to the grocery store where nobody knows me. So I don't care. I'll throw on a baseball hat and I'll go outside because I remember when I would never go outside without
Mm,
a wig. Oh, my neighbor is gonna see me. Oh, now depending on when you catch me, you might catch me outside without hair. But I've had to build up to that,
yeah.
right? I had to that took years before, I would never even think about coming out my bedroom without a wig. So now, like, I walk around the house without hair, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm going to a special event, I definitely will have on hair
Yeah.
because I like hair. And that's something else I had to learn, that embracing, this season or chapter doesn't mean I'm not going to wear hair. And by the way, shout out to the CEO and founder of BaldyCon,
Yeah.
where hundreds of beautiful Black women, and shout out to Jamie Elmore, who has been a mentor to us. Beautiful Black women of all different hues who also have alopecia or experience alopecia, who get together, and a lot of them don't wear hair ever, right? They don't wear wigs, but I feel like it's my right. If I want to wear a wig, I can wear a wig. If I don't want to wear a wig, I should have the option to do that, right? Because I find that sometimes we tend to pigeonhole ourselves when we do, you know, advocate for certain issues. And it's like, well, I can't wear wigs anymore because now I'm talking about alopecia. No, I like my wig. I'm going to wear it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
especially in the winter because I get cold. Feel like a hairless cat.
So you talk about redefining. I love, like, I always wear wigs or I always have my hair in some type of style. For me, it's about like being able to redefine myself by what I have on my head, right? So like now I have
Mhm.
braids, um, color, you can add color. Sometimes like I wore this wig the other day and my family was like, what you did? Like, what? That's not good. And so like, but who cares? Like I wore it to work. I changed my hair up at work. But I've never gone bald to work. However, I did go to law school and my hair started falling out in my last year. And when my hair falls out, I don't know anybody else's experiences, but I get pain where it's about to fall out. I get like a little circle and then it starts to spread and spread and spread. And that year, it was like the dot was like right here. So I was like, there was no way I could hide it. So I was just like, I'm tired. And I just like cut off my whole hair. And that's actually the time people were like, you have cancer. I came to work. And that environment, again, like it's almost like going to work, right? Like these people are not Black, most of them that I was going to law school with or in that environment. And it was really hard to navigate. And it was winter time. They were like, why would you cut your hair in the winter? And it was like all these questions. And I'm like, mind your business. Um,
Yeah.
but I say this to say that like when you will get questions when
Yeah.
you show up, if you ever decide to do that. But you're not obligated just because, like Makeda said, you're not obligated not to wear wigs or not to get your hair done just because you have alopecia. If you feel best with the wig on, wear your wig. But I will say, these wigs are expensive. Okay. Like they are expensive. Having my hair, even braiding my hair, I'm just like, oh my God. Like I remember it was just so much easier being able to put my hair in a ponytail or something like that. I'm like, these people just don't understand. Like this is this is hard. So again, I love being able to redefine myself. But I think honestly, walking out with no hair at some point, I do think it is empowering. I think that once you're able to do that, making the decision after that not to wear it, that should be when you do that. Like I think there will be a point where you should be like, even if it's not like outside, but maybe it's like in your backyard or something like that, where you do feel comfortable a little bit going outside with that. It's really empowering. Like that period of time, I think I needed that to say like, yeah, I did it. I tried it. Not for me. Gonna go back to my wigs.
Right. I love that y'all are talking a lot about creativity as well, which is what I hear. I hear, the ability to like relearn yourself in every season. Every year is this opportunity to figure out what you like. And to those women that are listening to this conversation, like versatility, we're hearing options, we're hearing flexibility. This is 2026. You don't have to be ashamed about whatever style or however you choose to show up. And you get to show up differently, and you get to set boundaries, is what I also heard. Because I think a lot of times when we're in advocacy spaces, we feel like we have to perform or act as if we don't, we everything is okay or every question is okay. And I love that for us as Black women who are in these advocacy spaces to say, I don't want to talk about that, or that's not really something I feel comfortable with sharing, and being okay with that and not worrying about what comes after that, because you get to decide. You get to decide. Makeda, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say agency,
Yes.
agency and versatility. Anytime I've shared with potential prospects, right? I would often joke and be like, "Listen, you could get a new girl every month. Just tell me what color. Just say you get a new girl every month. You want short hair, you want long hair, you want the bust down, you want the pixie. What you want? You want the little bob? What you need? You want blonde? You want red? Like, you know. So, I've had to embrace that aspect of it. That hey, I get to be creative. I get to literally recreate.
Yes.
It's like a blank canvas. And what I recently, last year, I started finding sites for like gems and henna.
Yes.
And I've
Seen
seen,
that.
some beautiful bald women that I know and don't know alike, just alike with, decorating their crown.
Yeah.
And I thought that was absolutely beautiful. And I was like, yeah, one day when I get to that point where I'm ready to do that, I will definitely partake. Yeah.
I
Matter of
love
fact, you guys just answered a question for me. Thank you.
that. What we answered.
I was questioning. I'm in the market for some new ink. I want some new ink, and I was just like, where am I gonna put it? Where am I gonna put it? I'm gonna put it on my crown. I'm gonna get
Oh,
a little pink.
I need to be a fly on the wall. That sounds dope.
You could
I
come. You could
bet.
totally come.
That sounds so
Yeah, I
cool.
think I'm gonna get a
That
little pink.
sounds cool. Or even henna.
Yeah,
Ooh.
bring your camera
Okay.
and show me. I know you want.
Yes,
You
I
want
love
me one without your tripod. I know.
I love to be there for the girl snap snap. I'm the person that love to take a good picture of the girlies. I get the picture right. Get the picture. Okay. And then airdrop it to me. I don't want to wait till you feed your
She's
cat
like,
and your
I need it
dog
right
whatever.
now.
But that sounds beautiful. Oh, that would be beautiful. And like that's what I'm saying, just the versatility of it. And I love that we're having this conversation. And I hope that the women that are listening are even getting creative ID, downloads even now. Go on Pinterest after this episode, let us know like what came to mind, because the options are limitless. You are not limited at all. As long as we're breathing and being, we have the ability to create and to inspire other people. And that's exactly what the both of you are doing and have done. And I'm just grateful that we're connected and we're able to have this conversation. Okay, talking about building community with women. Ah, how has connecting with other women, especially those with shared experiences, impacted your journey? And then with that question, I want you all to talk about, what does authentic community look like for you and how do you cultivate it?
Hmm. This is a harder question. Like I said, like Makeda really came to me about this. My sister-in-law is her blind sister. She's a Delta, and it was like, oh, like you guys have the same, you guys have this thing, alopecia. You guys should talk and connect. And it was literally the first time that I ever really spoke to anyone outside of my friends, really, about um about alopecia, and I felt like she just got it, right? Like she just like understood, even though her story is so different. It was just nice to have someone understand where I was coming from. We could both be vulnerable. We could both like talk about resources. She's great at connecting people together. Like I tell her all the time, I'm like, you always got us talking to somebody. You always got us helping somebody. And I'm like, I love that. Like I love the opportunity to do that because it's not something probably I would do by myself. We've done a photo shoot. We started our page. Like we have people listen. We have speakers come on our page, and we're revamping that experience. But it's so nice to know that people are watching and listening and understanding our story and then also being vulnerable enough to share their story. And the authenticity part, I think it's almost like natural. It's easy when it's people that are going through the same thing. I think it's harder when it's someone that you don't know or hasn't gone through it, and they might use it against you. I'm a very like I don't trust people. People throw stuff in your face, like but I feel like people honestly have been so supportive in this journey, and not just people with alopecia. I know me and Makita have talked about like things that we've done, and my friends and my family have come to support me. My colleagues I'm so surprised. They have been so supportive too. And that's been great. And being authentic in myself has allowed me to have more confidence for me to show up for everyone else, for me to show up for myself. So I think that that's what authenticity does. You are more confident in who you are and who you are becoming.
So Angela doesn't know this, but I thank God for her. And I, when I met Angela when I was actually sitting on a panel
Mm,
talking about alopecia for the very first time publicly. With a wig. I had on a wig. It was a cute one too. I had on a wig. It was my very first like Facebook Live panel, and there were so many dynamics going on that night. She would never know, and she popped in and she was like, "Hey, hi, I want to talk to you," and I was just like, "Oh, okay." And when we connected, I was just like, "Oh my God, somebody else that actually gets it." A
mm,
physical person in real life that I am 1 degree away from that actually gets it, that
mm.
won't think I'm weird, that won't ask me if I have cancer, that won't ask me stupid questions, that can share resources with me and I with her. And so she was like really the first person in my village because my friends could only be sympathetic, but they couldn't be empathetic. Like
Wow.
they still had their hair.
Mm,
And
mm,
it's kind of like when people, people try to do the nice thing. I'm going to use an example. Yes, it's a bit extreme, but you'll get it. Um, when people lose a parent, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know how you feel. You do not. You still have your parents. Now, if you want to say, my sympathies and I'm here, let me know how I can show up for you, then just do that.
yeah.
But you don't know until you've experienced it yourself. There's a difference. That's
Yeah.
why there's two words. There's two different words. So Angela, her sister-in-law, um, good friend to me, um, she was able to be sympathetic with me, and Angela is able to be empathetic with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need both.
Yeah. And I love that you're saying that, Makeda, because sometimes our community, they don't know where and I think the best thing, and this is something I've been practicing, even as a survivor, is ask how can you support? Or sometimes it's not performing. You know what I mean? I understand, but just how you do need both. And some of that is with asking the question, being curious and saying like, I may not be able to support you, but I know I know this woman over here that can, and she's been through something similar. That is powerful. That is groundbreaking because we feel like we need to fix something.
There's nothing. I love you hit the nail on the head. The important piece
Yeah.
that you said was asking how,
How?
because how I may feel showing up for you may not be what you need right now. You may need something that you literally can't give me. It doesn't make you any less of a friend. It doesn't make you any less supportive. It doesn't make you any less, caring. Nothing. But to your point,
Mhm.
when you do without asking and without having the experience,
So
now you're
important.
being performative
So
because
this is so
you're,
important.
you don't want to be viewed as the bad friend. I got to show up for my friend. I don't want you to perform for me. I need you to ask me what I need.
Yes.
I need you to show up for me authentically. And if that means you just do nothing, do nothing. If that means you just shoot me a text, shoot me a text. But at least ask. If that means buying me a new wig cap, do that. Or sending me a link to a resource or something, just ask.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just want to add when I had a patch in my head, I had asked my ex, just get the clippers. Gonna be my barber today and just like cut my hair off. And I think that that was like that's what I needed in that moment. No questions asked, just get the clippers and cut my hair, please. So yeah, try to when people want to help, like definitely if they ask, definitely try to tell them. I think people do want to help. It's just that people just don't know what we need. So
Yeah.
if people ask, definitely try to give them a nudge and tell them which direction to go into. And sometimes we don't know what we need, and that's just to be honest, right? And so that's a whole nother thing. But again, finding community and people that have been through the same situations as you, it gives you an idea of like, okay, that's what I need. I just needed to talk this out, or I needed someone to support me or give me a resource and understand what I'm going through. So
I found that once I started talking about it publicly more, and that was due in part because I had Angela, I had someone who understood in my corner. Not, and again, no, my friend, yes, my previous friends
Yeah.
who were riding with me before, because I didn't go to that wig store alone
Yeah.
after I left the hairdresser. And I was like, I got work on Monday. What am I do? I can't call out. What am I do? I can't go in there like this. You know, for me at that time, just them coming into the wig store with me saying, "Girl, what you think about this one? What come we on?" and just shaking a little bit,
Yeah.
and like making a good time, making me laugh and keeping, wiping my tears. That's
Yeah.
what I needed at that time in that season.
Mm.
Someone saying, "Come here, I know how to. Let me get them edges because they thick. Let me pluck the part. Let's get some
Yeah.
concealer." Because back then, I wasn't wearing wigs. I wasn't wearing makeup. I didn't even know what concealer was. Like
Mm.
I was so naked and afraid, literally, like with this experience. And my village was there for me at the time. And they supported me how they could until we got to the point where, okay, I know this, I know that. Now I need to talk about it. I know
Yeah.
how to cover it up, I know how to manage it, I know how to cope. Now I need to talk about it so I can
Mm.
start to heal through this, right? And once I started talking about it more and more, that's when I started meeting more and more people. We met
Yeah.
Jeannie Elmore out of California. Shout out to her. She is a pioneer in this space. She has spearheaded two initiatives, two anthology series,
Wow.
one focusing on men and alopecia, and the second one focusing on women with alopecia. And also, I think she did Baldy Walk, or she did a bald walk, if I'm not mistaken. Audrey, we had the pleasure of meeting her and talking with her, and she was just such a force. She was like, girl, she's a hairdresser
Wow.
with alopecia. Can you imagine? Like, it's your craft to do
Yeah.
people's hair, and you lose your own hair. Can you imagine? So she was just so instrumental. And then in terms of continuing to build community,
Yeah.
and just to say this to, and if you all want to chime in and say anything else, everyone in your community doesn't have to be your immediate friend, doesn't have to be your bestie from high school, it doesn't have to be your family. It could be Angela. Let me tell you something. Angela's coworkers, anytime we had a Naked Sound Live, her coworkers were flooding the chat. Okay? Her colleague, her community
I
showed
love
up
that.
for her. Okay? Your community could be those you know and those you don't know.
Yeah.
Because I was drawing on inspiration from I think Alopecia Free Jess from
Mm.
YouTube. So many YouTube ladies. Nelly, Miss Nelly. Shout out to her on Instagram. Like just so many people. I would just see them and be like, oh, there is life with alopecia. Oh, she got married. Oh shit, she bought. Oh, oh,
Yeah.
there's a man that will come wig shopping with me. All right, baby, he don't gotta buy. He could buy the wig. I mean, I got two on pay and four on PayPal. He could pay the rest. You know what I mean? Like,
Hello.
listen, I gotta put it out there. I gotta put it out there.
Seize
Who
an
wants
opportunity. Okay.
two on pay and four on PayPal? You wanna? But
Ooh.
everybody in your community doesn't have to have alopecia. Everybody, you don't be afraid to diversify your community.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all could play a role in supporting one another as women as well. I love this. We'll segue, but I really love the community aspect because there are so many women that are like, I don't know where my tribe is. Where do I start? Who do I watch? Y'all heard it here, right? There are so many resources and you're not alone. And so speaking of feeling unseen and feeling alone, what is some advice that you would give another person that does have alopecia on like where they can start? What is some advice that you would give them on how to navigate feeling isolated and unseen?
Oh, that's a good one. Go ahead.
I
Go.
think it's so interesting because like I feel like when I started, I didn't know where to start. I was very much like Google and Google, WebMD, you got everything but what you got. So it was very like not helpful. But again, I think as YouTube became more, it became bigger. I think there are a lot of women on YouTube that have regrown their hair. They tell you what products maybe may be helpful. And for everyone, it's going to be different because obviously, like, there's not a lot of studies on alopecia, to be honest. But I would say YouTube. I would say, Naked Crown 2020. I just throwing that in there a little bit.
Mhm.
And I know what you eat matters too. We even on our page we talk about like
Yeah.
our diet and how important that is, and at least seeing if that is an issue in making our hair grow back. Um, but I would just say be encouraged. I think for me, prayer and God is really, really important. My faith is extremely, extremely important. And I've always prayed since I was 12. I was like, God, please, like, let this not be for me, right? Obviously, that's the first thing I'm praying. And then if it is for me, let my light and this is my life in general. This is like a saying I have for my life. I just want it to be, I want it to help other people. I want my life to be an example of how Christ would show up. And so in doing so, I want to make sure that I'm a resource, that I'm helping people, that people find solace or something that they can find. And I hope that this platform is going to reach so many women and that they can find if even if it's not our community, they can find community
Yeah.
around alopecia and know that they're not alone because this is affecting more women than you think. A lot of people are hiding behind wigs, their hair. But let me tell you, there is something freeing about being authentic and, even just having a space where you can do that. And
Yeah.
this is it. This is a space. So find your community.
Love that. I love that.
Looking for a place to start.
Mm.
Ooh, there's no better place than to start within. You have to start within because if you don't start within, and if you, if you don't get to a place of some sort of self acceptance, Angela talked about the stages of grief because losing your hair, whether it's your crown or your eyebrows, eyelashes, whatever the case may be, or all of your body hair, because some people lose all of their body hair. Um, at some point, you have to get to a place of this is where we are. You have to accept before, because you're not gonna be in a place to talk to anybody or reach out if you don't first like come to a place of acceptance. Um, so that's where I would start. And then as you continue to get comfortable, as you continue to, because you got to start speaking life over yourself. You got to start speaking life over yourself. Um, and for me, that goes hand in hand with praying, right? You know, power of the tongue and the things you say and the things you think. In addition to a myriad of other things, you know, what you consume, what environment are you in? For me, right now, the challenge or the struggle is, you know, detoxing and then take like wearing my wig less. So that way I can get more direct sunlight to help stimulate the follicles and like all the things, right? Um, yeah. But no matter what stage you're in, there is someone else who is in that stage and phase with you. So if you're in the I'm covering up, I told half a person, I told the cat about it, you know, there's someone else who just told the cat about it too. Matter of fact, they told the fish, you know. So you have to get to a point where you're willing to be open and receptive to finding other community members. And when you start to resonate in that space, you literally out of nowhere, people will show up. For me, Angela showed up out of nowhere, but it was because I said yes to doing that panel. It was because I dealt with myself and I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm in a space enough where I'm good enough with me that I can get on this panel and tell these people that I don't know about something that I'm working on.
Mm.
Because you're talking to somebody that has dealt with low self-esteem their entire life, being the girl that no one picks, and oh, you know, yeah, still dealing with that not getting chosen thing, right? That I know that's another conversation topic for another day, but all of it ties in together. It's not separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're reliant on one of your tools, your hair, your makeup, you know, to it's kind of like it's a part of our packaging, so to speak. So when a part of your packaging is gone, you're looking at yourself like I'm not beautiful. Oh my God, nobody. You start telling, like I was telling myself, oh, nobody's gonna want me now. Oh my God. You know, when I was saying earlier when I had that conversation with God in the car and I was mad, I was like, now nobody's really gonna want me. Like that's what I was saying to myself about myself. Do you know how much damage I did to myself? I mean, I thank God and I'm really, really grateful that I'm no longer in that space. But I do have my moments. I will tell you, there's some days where I'm like, all right, God, well, I guess. You know what I mean? I guess. You know, when I'm questioning things.
And
I
that's
just,
what, go ahead.
sorry, I just wanted to add that we didn't say go to a doctor. So
Yeah.
go to a dermatologist if you can. That if you can, that
Let there
might
be
help.
a professional, a healthcare professional, a part of
Yes,
your community,
yes,
excuse me, preferably one that
looks like us.
looks
Yeah.
like you. Yeah, yeah, someone that looks like you. Because I didn't even tell y'all the dermatologist that I mentioned who first gave me my diagnosis, this older white lady. And so my hair is growing back, and I'm all excited. And I say to her, "Oh my goodness, it's working!" She had me on Rogaine. Girl, I was on like the strongest thing of Rogaine. I was using foams, lotions. I was growing hair on my face. It was crazy. It was
Wow.
crazy. I was naring my face at one point. It was bananas. I looked like a werewolf. I kid you not. I was shaving my face. Anyway, so I go into the office and I'm all excited. I'm like, oh my God, like there's hair, look. And she said, yeah, okay, I see. But you know your hair is not gonna grow back like Beyonce. I mean,
Miss Doctor.
it took everything in me.
Oh, yeah.
It took because who said anything? First of all, Beyonce is wearing a wig.
Right.
Like what?
You for your references.
And I maybe, in retrospect, that was her way of trying to be culturally sensitive.
To
I
connect.
should I should have said to her, "Who's that?" That's what I should have said. I should have tripped up that day. I should have been like, "I don't know who that is."
Right.
Like, but I in that moment, like I was so overjoyed, and she like snatched the joy
Mm.
out of my spirit. Like I was so mad. I got in the car and I called my mom and I started yelling through the phone. My mom was like, "Well, what happened?" I was like, "That's and she
Mhm.
said, you know what I mean? That after that day, I did not go back to that lady. I told my mother, I was like, I'm not going back home because she's speaking death. Like here I am celebrating, and I'm so what that got to do with Beyonce and her show wigs. Love Beyonce, no, no tea, no shade, but what that got to do with my what?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
going to a healthcare provider
Yeah.
that looks like you is important. And we've seen this in different spaces, whether it's hair loss, maternal child health. We've
Yeah.
seen this play over and over and over again, where women of color are not heard.
Yeah. PCOS, endometriosis, like
Fibroids,
the
yeah,
list goes on and on and on. And like you said, we've seen it play out in history so many times. And I'm glad that we still have more work to do, of course, right? But I'm glad that we are in a space where you can select and you can choose, right? And don't get discouraged as well, because that's also a thing for us as Black women. There's usually a waiting list. You usually don't get that appointment right away when you go into a specialist. You might have to wait 3 months. Can I tell you this? You're worth that 3-month wait. Don't quit. Don't give up. It is a process, it is a journey, but do not let the process deter you and make you feel like it's all for nothing. Because when I talk to women about healthcare, it's like can't even find a Black therapist, or I gotta wait for, I have a specialist appointment. I've waited 4 months, 5 months for one specialist appointment.
worth it.
Then they were like, "Oh, I'll put you on the waiting list." Nobody ever called me before those folks. The appointment is about to be next week. 4 months of worry
Yeah,
and like you all said, thank God for community. Thank God for women who have been through the process and they're like, listen, this is a part of it. This is what you can do in the meantime, between time, go do this. This is a holistic approach. Like, thank God for community. And right. And so as you were talking about Makeda, like being like people speaking deaf or people not utilizing their words properly. This is something as Black women we're always experiencing. Was there a moment when gratitude helped you reframe your relationship with alopecia? When the doctor's saying this, when people who you thought would respond a certain way, it's kind of shy, taking you aback a little bit. Like, how has gratitude and talking to yourself and talking to God helped to reframe your relationship with alopecia?
first of all, Miss Charmaine, they need to give you an Emmy, a Tony for your show. What they call it? Is it a Tony Award winning show? I'm gonna just throw that out there. Miss Charmaine Page got the Tony Award winning talk show.
I
Okay,
receive it.
I like how you did that. Just put that right in there. Um, wow, gratitude and learning how to get into a space of gratitude and learning how
Yeah.
to stay and be
Ugh.
grounded in gratitude. Um, I don't
Because
know.
those are two separate things.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting and staying. Okay, I'm a guy.
No, so getting to a space of where I could actually say, you know what, God, thank you. Thank you for the alopecia. Thank you for the wigs. Thank you. I so my family's Jamaican, and the running joke with Jamaican people is that we always have 10 million jobs. So I've always had 10 million jobs. And I had a job where I worked with this young lady who, every time I worked with her, she reminded me of just how incredibly blessed I am. And I know a lot of times we'll say things for cliche like, oh, I wake up this morning and, that's a blessing. We say it, but a lot of times we don't feel the gravity of it. And so imagine working closely with someone who, I worked in healthcare, and this person reminded me that every day that I can just get up and walk to the bathroom on my own with ease. And now more than ever, I know because my knees be talking to me. Now more than ever, being appreciative, like, yo, if I wanted to get up and go get a glass of water, I can. If I wanted to drink that glass of water, I can. And so I said to myself one day, I said, yo, you got to pull it together. You have to, in order to get through this, you're going to have to reground yourself in the things that really matter. Like in the grand scheme of things, yeah, okay, do you miss your hair, your own hair? Sure. Is it a pain in the ass to have to try to figure out how to grow it back? Yeah. Is it challenging your belief in that your body can heal itself? Yeah, but okay, are you going to take on the challenge? Or are you going to punk out on it? Okay, throw on a wig. If you could throw on a wig, you can do like it really helped getting back to being in a space of gratitude. It helped shift me out of lack, and it helped to remind me of just how abundant I am.
Wow.
And so I had to refocus and say, okay, you don't have hair, but you have like these 5 wigs. You
Yeah.
can put them on. Or guess what? If you work on your self esteem, you may not have to. You may not feel like wearing the wig. You be all right. Like, you know what I mean? But you have the options. Like, yo, God, I'm thankful I have options. God, I'm thankful for paying for it so I could get a new wig because I saw that one and I liked it. I want to try that new style.
Right.
God, I'm thankful I still have breath in my body. God, I'm thankful I can still walk on my 2 feet. God, I'm thankful I don't have a terminal illness. God, I'm thankful, and so I had to really reshift and pivot and change. And okay, so if God, I'm thankful for all the people that learned how to microblade some eyebrows because now I got some fierce ass eyebrows.
Right.
God, I'm thankful my eyelashes grew back. Oh my god, girl, when that first eyelash grew back, do you know how happy I was? Do you know how happy I was? I am so serious. So the experience of losing my hair like really helped me. It took some time. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
act like it was overnight. It definitely took a lot of work.
Mhm.
And so fast forward to, I don't know if you want to share how we connected, but back in 2022, I was just moved. I used to do this thing years ago before I lost my hair where I would just find something to be thankful for. And I was dealing with something else at the time. And I was just like, all right, let's shift the focus. Let's be thankful. So I was doing it on Facebook. I don't want to date myself, but I was doing it on Facebook when Facebook was Facebook before it became whatever it is now. Um, and then I reinstituted it in 2022, and I was, still dealing with hair loss and all the things. And so, fast forward, I started trying to figure out how to use TikTok, and I was like, let me just share what I'm thankful for, because every time I do it, I feel better. It helps me feed my spirit. It helps me shift the focus from what's bothering me to, you know what, I have an abundance of this, I have an abundance of that, or I can do that. It opens up a portal. Gratitude opens up portals for me. So
Word.
I'm gonna pause there. I don't know.
I'm just going to briefly add, I'm going to co-sign everything that she
Yes.
said. I'm going to co-sign everything that she said, how important it is to realize like just the blessings that you have. I know pandemic for me was extremely hard. I was going through a lot. And I feel like me recognizing that, I'm able to get through that situation. And then you just start to bring on all the other things that are troubling you. And you're like, okay, you're blessed. Like you have so much, your life is abundant. And if you look at that, which is changing your perspective, then you can have more gratitude in life. I now have like this thing that I do in the morning that I try to do I meditate every morning for 10 minutes and I pray. And that to me is how I start my day. And I think starting your day with gratitude and gratefulness is the best way. And I think that's even with, your alopecia. If you could say something beautiful about yourself, speak life into yourself. It really, really does matter looking at yourself in the mirror. You're not going to believe it the first time. You're probably not going to believe it the second time or the 100th time. But
Mm.
eventually you start to really believe what you're saying and you realize the blessings that you have. And it's not comparison, it's just realizing that, you have health, you have wealth, you have all these other things that really you could be in a different space. And Makeda talking about knees and stuff, they be cracking, okay? So yeah.
Not too much on our knees, all right? Not too.
You gotta speak life over them too.
Come on, okay? No, oh wow. This is so encouraging to me. I have so much to say, but what I try to gather when I bring special guests on it, what I hear is words when they talk. And so what I'm hearing is practice, perspective, shifting focus so you can be present. And
Yep.
so y'all that are listening to this, practice, look in that mirror, shift perspective, it shifts your focus so that you can be present. And I love that about gratitude. I also, Makeda, love every time I want to be in a funk. Okay, let me tell you, I go on TikTok and then boop, and it really does, because sometimes we're just being, right? We're just doing what works for us, that encourages us, and we don't always recognize its impact. And that has snatched me out of some ideas and some ideologies on many days when I go on to encourage on TikTok. Seeing you stop in the moment, rather it's in your car or in your house, but I'm sure you have a busy schedule, but being able to be present and say, these are the three things, and now what's yours? Hello, call to action,
Yeah.
right? And that's what this episode is about too. It's about, this is how we're able to navigate through it. Now, how are you going to navigate your journey? And I love that both of you both said it's not about comparison. The only way you don't fall into these traps of comparison is being present in your own story. Go ahead, Makeda.
Yeah, make I want to come in my eye, Miss Shaman. You know what? I want to cry on the show. I don't want to cry on the show. Okay, I do not want to cry in here
It has
tonight.
happened before. It's okay.
But yeah, that's I honestly do it more so for myself. And I remember the first time I was doing it, and I had just stopped posting, and people were just like, "Hey," people were texting me, asking me, "Where were the Hey, we haven't seen you in 3 days. Where are the thankful thoughts, ma'am?" And I was just like, "What, you are actually paying attention?" And they were like, "Yeah, I look for them every day. Where are your thankful thoughts?" So I was just like, "That yeah, that's for mine because I ain't posting in a couple days." But I'm just showing up as authentically as possible in that space. And again, my only goal is just to share, hey, here's what I'm thankful. There's a lot, as I always say in my videos, there's a lot of crazy distractions and a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So being able to get in a space of gratitude helps keep me grounded. What helps keep you grounded during
Yeah.
times.
And
And
I love that. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
oh
Makeda.
no, completely. Mhm.
No, I love that as we're talking about gratitude and healing, you both talked about God. You both talked about faith. You talked about the source of that grounding, right? Or gratitude. You also talked about intentional practices, looking in the mirror, taking your time. Maybe it's touching your head. Maybe it's, looking at different styles on Pinterest, getting ideas. You also talked about how it may take practice to reframe your relationship with alopecia, and even as getting older, right? It's always, as women, we're, it's this fear of us getting older, and like, what are we gonna lose? And so giving ourselves an opportunity yearly to redefine what that relationship with ourselves is going to look like. And you all gave so many tools. I want to give an opportunity to kind of talk about anything else that helps you with your self-acceptance process, and then we'll segue into what kind of impact do you hope your story and visibility create for other women.
The only thing that I want to say is to give yourself grace. I think it's so easy to be like, oh, like, when am I going to get over this? Or when is this going to happen? Or when is that going to happen? But you have to give yourself a lot of grace. This is a process. And with anything, it's going to take time. And again, find the resources, the people that support you, and yeah, be kind to yourself. Be very, very kind.
I echo everything Ajale said. Give yourself grace. For some people, it happened overnight. They were like, oh, I'm over it. Great. For some people, it takes years. So don't compare yourself, your journey, right? We hear this all the time with other things. Don't compare your journey, your very unique alopecia story to someone else's. And there's something in there for someone else. That's something that always kept me
Mm,
sane. Like, oh, alopecia is not, actually, it's not for me. It's not for me. I'm just the vessel. It's not for me. It's for someone else
wow.
for dealing with something else. Because I had a friend of mine. We have this fun joke about, like, I mentioned I lost all my facial hair, and I had to say to her one day, I was like, "Yo, listen, when I get naked, I get naked, naked. Like, there is a next level of nakedness when you don't have like your facial like hair and your hair on your head, and like you go to take a shower and you're like naked." So and I'm like, I wonder if like that's how God sees us. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just have all of these questions.
Okay.
But anyway,
I like that. We gonna stay right there. We gonna stay right there. Like because again, the opportunities that are in the things that we count as disadvantages.
yeah, yeah,
And that's what I've learned on my journey of faith. All those things that I thought would count me out or would make me question my beauty, make me question my purpose was actually the things that gave me an opportunity to know who God is to me in every season. And it looks different in every season. And I think that's just such a powerful way I'm going to take that with me. I'm snatching that for me. This is how God views us without needing to do anything. You don't gotta fix your attitude. You don't gotta make a certain amount. You don't have to have a certain lace front on. Like just you is enough. Just you is enough. And that's truly what I love about God is that when we're dealing with each other, it requires a lot, right? It requires when we're navigating in society, especially as a Black woman. Oh, especially it requires us to put on all these things to get through, but also to protect ourselves. And like you said, the question of how can I view myself and the power that I am when I'm just being? That is, I'm gonna have to write a poem about that because that's powerful. That's powerful.
just seeing
Yeah,
blesses other people.
yeah.
I think, was it you, Angela, that had someone connect with you who started having an experience, and both of us were like, we're gonna send her a card, like we're
Wow.
gonna welcome her into this club, and like, just make her feel warm and welcomed.
Yeah.
Hopefully, by acknowledging her and letting her know we're here and
Wow.
we see you and we understand you. So, even if it's just for that.
That's impact.
Yeah.
That's impact. Can we talk like impact? Impact.
Yeah.
When you all started this journey, I'm sure you weren't thinking about impact. I'm sure you was just trying to get to Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So when you look at how this journey started and where you are now, what do you hope your impact to be? And what is one moment that was like, oh, this is really like this is helping other women? Like this is a thing. Like this is powerful.
I,
This is not just for me. Yeah.
I think my impact, I just want people to become more knowledgeable, and that's people with alopecia and then people without alopecia. I want everyone to really understand what this is and how it impacts, because people are like, oh, it's just alopecia, it's not going to impact you, and it really does impact your identity. It really, really does. So for the people that don't know about alopecia, I want them to understand how it does impact the lives of those with alopecia. And then for the people that have alopecia, I just want them to know that they have a community that understands what they're going through, and that if for any reason they need help or assistance or resources, that they can reach out, they can ask, and we will, if we can, provide that and give them guidance and encourage them daily. I know when we first started, we did this whole campaign in September, and it was just great, like words of affirmation and encouraging people. And I felt encouraged just doing it. So that is what my impact overall, that's what I see coming from this. And if it grows bigger, I would be great just to give people the opportunity to be vulnerable and express their experience and really understand what all of this is.
Impact is such a heavy word. It can mean so much. I just want, I would just want every man and woman dealing with losing their hair, no matter what stage of the game. Because we had a really dope interview with, remember the gentleman who was running for a public office? I don't want to share his name just in case, we didn't sign no paperwork with him, so just. But he was running for public office, and he was talking about and the impact, him losing his hair and how that had on his home life with his kids reacting to him, people on the street. And the funny part is, I was like, yo, I remember you, like from years past, like in a different space. And, to converge here in this space, it was just really, cool to see how full circle moments. But as far as impact, getting back to the point, I would want every man and woman who's dealing with self esteem and confidence issues to know that this is not the be all end all, right? This doesn't define you. Like, it's okay. You're not an alien. Nothing, you're not weird. You're okay. Um, and your beauty and your hair are not one and the same. And so if I have to be the myth buster for every Caribbean household, right? Every Caribbean girl, little girl who grew up hearing their mother and their grandmother and their aunts and their grand aunts say that your hair is your beauty, it's not. It doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be. You are still beautiful with or without, right? With or without. Throw an or in there. With or without. And if that is the impact that somebody can pick themselves up off the floor and say, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, yeah, I'm okay. Um, so for me, it's really just that simple. It really is very simple. And to share a resource, if I have something that you can benefit from here, share a resource. If something we've said or something that we've written, by the way, we were a part of an anthology book series by the one and only fabulous Jamie Elmore, as we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Um, if there's something that you read from any one of the women who participated that makes you shift your perspective and how you see it,
Mhm.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Impact.
Yeah. I love it, with or without. With or without. I, because there's so much I want to say. Y'all are doing incredible work. Y'all are doing incredible work. What are you building and how can folks stay connected? I will be dropping the link to Naked Crowned and also to the Alopecia Hour Stories Living the Bald Life in the description. I am also going to take it a step further and do a giveaway for one woman. You just got to DM me, and the book is on me because we believe in community and being proactive, and really being a resource. How can folks support what's happening next with Naked Crown or I mean, getting the book, of course, right? Y'all are in the book.
Yeah.
Get that, y'all.
We are in the book, so please,
Yes.
I would say get the book, read the book, take what's yours, and then if
Something.
you need to pass it on, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's about the book. Naked Crown 2020 on Instagram. So right now we are in the planning phases of re-emerging. We took a bit of a hiatus. Life started to really life
That's
Mhm.
okay.
for the past couple of what year or
Yes.
so,
Yeah. Hmm.
because we used to do a monthly Crown Conversations on Instagram Live where we had a number of guests. We talked about sex and dating. We've talked about don't pull
It's
too
a thing. It's a
hard.
thing. Like, ooh,
Hey,
what you
You know
don't
what I
touch
mean?
that.
How do you navigate that space? You in your lingerie, you trying to tell him not to pull too hard, he want to pull it off. We grown. We as a
Honest conversations that we actually go through.
and it's necessary, y'all.
yes, because if he puts it on, I'm cool. He can stay. He's a keeper. If he snatches it and puts it on, we good. I might have to marry him.
That'll work. Look, that'll work. Ah!
But so we've had these
Yeah.
delicate conversations. How do you show up in different spaces now? We've also spoke to a dermatologist, Dr.
Wow.
Jerome out of Brooklyn. Shout out to Dr. Jerome. She was marvelous. We've talked to a politician, a public male figure. We've talked to, quite a few people. So our conversations have been quite cathartic. We've heard to a couple of people I know personally who I didn't know was
Mhm.
dealing with alopecia. Hit me on my phone like, "Girl, thank you. I didn't. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know. Because of you, I saw you and Angela talking, and thank you."
Impact.
Yeah.
And those shows are still on. So if you guys want to go
I know. I
there,
was about to
as
say
we're
it anyway.
as we're revamping, those shows are still there. So you can go to the page and you can be
Yeah.
uplifted. Be uplifted.
Yes. Because these are timeless conversations that can help multi generations.
Yeah.
And so go and watch those replays, support the book. I will be giving a giveaway. I'm going to get the book myself as well. Because as you said, Angela, it's important that you're educated. You're educated, especially in these spaces of just advocacy, not assuming. We talked about that here. We talked about asking how you can support. We talk about doing your own research, right? And that's how we better community. It's not just about being in community, but how do I be a villager? How do I actually show up and contribute and lift the load off of those that I'm in community with? It's not enough to just say I'm in community to be cool.
Right.
That's not
There's work to get done.
it's work. Right.
Earn your
um
citizenship. I love that. You just said you can't just be in the community. You got to be a villager. Who's getting the water? Who's getting the wood? Who's manning the fire? Yeah.
and I appreciate y'all for just being a part of my community. Y'all stuck with me now because this was just so amazing. And again, just being able to have this was a conversation I always wanted to have. I didn't know how or whatever. And this just, God allowed it to happen because I feel like it's definitely a timely conversation. So I'm looking forward to all of the amazing things that are going to blossom from Naked Crown and just individually. Y'all have like blessed me so much and have encouraged me during our conversation. I want to thank y'all so much for being on the Charmaine Show. And I appreciate y'all. Continue to soar. I'm gonna be rooting for you and supporting you in all that you do. But thank you for this moment to inspire our audiences and to let them know they are not alone. There is resources, there is community. So thank y'all so much. Take care, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.